All right, so in my fantasy football league, I completed the trade.
Yes.
Tyler Lockett,
Yes.
Dallas Goddard,
Yes.
and Devontae Parker. And I got DeAndre Hopkins in the Ravens defense. So this is the third trade I've completed in this league. All three this year. All three trades, the entire league, other than the people I traded with, have blown up and told me I'm ripping everybody off. I mean, they have been heated at all of my trades.
So why haven't they denied them?
Because not enough. We do have a veto, but it's like a majority of the league, and there's not a majority that actually vetoes it. There's several people that disagree with it, but believe you should be able to do whatever you want with your team. So they're like, man, that's a stupid trade, but I think teams should be.
That's kind of how I was, like, unless it was like obvious they're just like winning the league.
So, but this is the part that I think is very important for anybody that's a fantasy player out there. So the way I draft in this league was I drafted a very, very deep team. I had very good running backs on paper on my bench that would be starters on other teams. Other teams all ran after the wide receivers. And my approach was, as the season moved on, I found the teams that were struggling and went after a big name and gave them several lesser names to fill in their rosters. So that's kind of what happened here with this Hopkins trade. So the person I traded was like 3-6 with the lowest points scored in the league. So Hopkins is not helping them win. Hopkins is a great player, but they're not winning with them. So I offered them 3 players that would be in their starting lineup for a defense and a really good player for me. It made my team a lot better, but their team got a lot better too, and we are a league that 7 out of 10 teams makes the playoffs. So a 3-6 team, if they turn it around here in these last few weeks, could make the playoffs and now has a shot at money because they put their team in a situation to win. So to me, I think it's a pretty fair trade. I'm offering them decent players, several decent players, to get back basically one player. Because it's like, if Hopkins gets hurt, that entire trade is a bust to me. But if someone of their trade gets hurt, well, they've still got a couple other players that are in their lineup. And that's kind of how all of my trades have worked. And I took heat on all 3 of them, and I needed to vent that. I don't try to rip anybody off. I have no fun with that. I traded Chris Carson for Tyreek Hill straight up. Chris Carson was the number 5 running back. Tyreek Hill was the number 5 wide receiver at the time. Chris Carson got hurt the next game he played. and so I looked like a genius, but everyone gave me trouble for that. You don't trade Tyreek Hill. You don't trade Tyreek Hill. The guy I traded him to had David Johnson as his number 1 running back.
I think
he had Chris Godwin as his other wide receiver. So he needed a running back, and I wanted a wide receiver. It was very fair. I took heat for that one. The trade that at the start of the year that really made me mad, I traded Noah Fant and who was it? Noah Fant and DJ Chark for Juju Smith and Dallas Goedert. I took so much heat for that trade. They were screaming for vetoes on that trade because Juju's a god. Well, guess what? Dallas Goedert's been hurt the whole year, and Juju Smith doesn't even know how to play football. So, don't get me wrong. Juju's actually been really good these last 3 weeks. He's got like 20 receptions in the last 3 weeks.
I was gonna say he's like 12.
He's got like 25 receptions. It's like 25 receptions in the last 3 weeks. So he's been doing something, but
he's got more touchdowns than
at the time. I mean, Juju was a huge question mark at the start of this year when this trade happened because he was terrible last year, and no one knew if Big Ben was actually healthy this year. And Dallas Goedert was the number 2 tight end on his team, but it always put up points. Going into this year, DJ Chark had huge upside. Now, he's been hurt a lot this year, and Noah Fant was supposed to be a breakout candidate tight end. Basically, that trade that I took hours of heat for, nobody won because all 4 players suck. I mean, it was unbelievable and very frustrating. But
I'm into the trade that you just did that on a team that's having problems. I think he won that trade.
It was actually a girl, surprisingly.
I think she won that trade on a team that's having problems. I mean, that's 2 good receivers for 1 really good receiver. But like,
and technically, Lockett has more fantasy points this year than Hopkins.
Does he really?
Yeah, Lockett is the number 2 wide receiver in fantasy football.
Wow.
because he's got a 60-point game and a 30-point game. He had like 260 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game.
Oh, he's got 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that's actually like not the best trade for you.
But it was because Dallas
Baltimore's a good defense too.
Well, so I've been waiver wiring defenses every week. And it has worked out for me because I've picked good matchups. Obviously. But Devontae Parker's never left my bench, and Dallas Goedert's been hurt the whole year, and I have Hunter Henry starting. So Hunter Henry's fine as a tight end. Parker's never played in my lineup, and I increased a defense. So for me, the players I gave up were depth. I traded depth on my team to get a starting player, but for them, they got 3 starting players.
Yeah, I don't know about Dallas Goedert, honestly, but I do know
that the Eagles have no one to throw to.
A team that's struggling could easily use, obviously, Lockett and Cooper. And they said Lockett and Hopkins, like Hopkins just has that bigger upside. So I don't really know how great of a trade that was for you, considering you lost a guy who just has almost as many fantasy points, but is more Hopkins is more consistent week to week.
So, and that's actually why I wanted to do the trade. So the big struggle I've had every week is that my team either booms or bust as a whole. So I either blow up and score the most or second most points of anyone in the league, or I score like 70 points. And so I kind of just needed a couple guys to just steady give me points. And now that Christian McCaffrey is hurt again, having Hopkins. I mean, this is the thing. This is my team on paper as of right now. I have Justin Herbert at quarterback. I should have McCaffrey and Josh Jacobs. I have Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins. Hunter Henry. I have Galladay, who's also been hurt most of the season. I have Juju. I have now the Ravens defense. I mean, I've got players. I have Kenyon Drake, who was supposed to be really good. On paper, my team should not lose a game.
I was never big into the Kenyon Drake thing.
But he was really good for Arizona at the end of last year.
I know, but
I also drafted. I went McCaffrey, Carson, or I went McCaffrey, Jacobs, Carson, Drake. So McCaffrey, Jacobs, Carson, and then I got Drake. Well, actually, no, because I drafted Galladay in there somewhere too. But so Drake was like a 5th or 6th round pick, and he was
Galladay over Lockett.
I did.
Nice.
I drafted Lockett in the 4th round. I drafted Galladay in the 2nd. So I went McCaffrey off the start. When I came back, I went Galladay, Jacobs. So you could argue
your league's a bunch of idiots because Josh Jacobs at the 3rd round.
Well, I guess technically the end of the 2nd round. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Those because I was on the end, so I grabbed Jacobs. He's terrible this year, honestly.
I know,
but it's heartbreaking.
But you can't tell that.
No. On paper,
a 1st round back in most leagues.
And Chris Carson was a stud to start the year. He was like 30 points every week to start the year.
Last year.
Yeah, he's consistently a stud. That guy is nuts.
Like every other touch in his first 4 weeks last year, he would have been argued like the top 4 back, and he might have even been a top 4
right
back.
He's a stud.
Obviously Henry and McCaffrey were.
Yeah, he's a stud, and it just didn't work out. But I had arguably on paper the best team in my opinion, and it didn't work out.
Who was your quarterback?
It was Big Ben. So I felt fine with Big Ben, and Big Ben's been steady this year. He's 20-25 points every week.
Eddie Robin.
So, and then I eventually just took the flyer on Herbert, who's 30-something points every week, and that's working out great for me. But now, really, my strategy at this point was I wanted to trade all of my depth and go all in to make the absolute best starting lineup I could heading into playoffs. That was kind of the strategy, was get rid of the depth, get the best studs in my lineup as possible, and just hope for the best. If they get hurt, they get hurt. If I lose in the playoffs, I lose in the playoffs. But I'm going to put the best lineup every week in the playoffs and hope for the best. That was my strategy. I have like nobody left on my bench. My bench is much weaker than it ever was the whole season, but I'm ready to go all in for playoffs, and that was the strategy because this is the trade deadline this week. So I had to make a deal happen. That's what we went for. So the update on the pick'ems. Logan, 9 games correctly to put him at 17. I dropped another 11, so I'm at 22. I am apparently a stud at Pick'em Challenges.
Yeah, we need to
Apparently.
start betting on it. And
I know. That's what I'm saying. If I start betting, I'm gonna have to bet the opposite of what I pick in here, and they'll just counter each other. And somewhere, I'll be right. All right. So I'm looking at starting at tomorrow's game, the Colts at the Titans. To me, this seems like despite the fact that the Colts are 5-3 and the Titans are 6-2, I actually don't think that this is all even of a game, personally. I don't know. I don't like the Colts. I don't even know how they're 5-3. And I think I said this last week too. I don't understand their team.
They were 5-2 last week.
There you go. So I was right, sort of, I guess you could say. I am not a big buyer on the Colts. I think the Colts have a lot of issues, and I think Tennessee's a much stronger team. I'm going to go Tennessee in the Thursday night football game.
I'm going to Titans too.
I figured you did. You are a big Titans guy.
Well, you do realize that I predicted last year in the postseason that the Titans were going to take down the Patriots and the Ravens.
I'm not a buyer in Phillip Rivers, and I'm not a buyer in this weird backfield situation where they've got like 3 different running backs now instead of using their best back.
Yeah, so they're just using Marlon Mack every play. What are they doing, dude? Anyways, whatever.
All right, so he's not.
I'm pretty sure he's hurt.
Jonathan Taylor is their rookie running back who was doing pretty well, and they basically just gave up on him. Like now they've got 3 guys running, and it's like, all right, this guy was doing pretty well. Why did you just stop using him?
Out of Wisconsin.
And it's frustrating because he's in my bench. So, anyways, all right, the Texans at the Browns. So the Texans are 2-6, and the Browns are 5-3. This is a tough one though because I think the Browns are trending in the wrong direction now too.
Texans.
You think Texans? Ooh, you're getting feisty today, aren't you?
No, I said the Titans.
All right, so you're saying Houston beats the Browns. Why do you think that?
Well, because Houston's going the right way. Baker Mayfield almost just got COVID, but I guess he's back. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Texans are going the right way.
Nick Chubb, I believe, is coming back this week for the Browns, though.
Ooh, that's actually big time. I didn't know that. I'm still going to
go they'll have Chubb and Hunt.
Just to go for the upset, I'm going for the Texans. Deshaun Watson's going to have a nice game.
Deshaun Watson's a stud. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien ruined his career, dude. That dude.
He's been a stud since changing coaches.
He was a stud before changing.
I know, but he's been real good.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the upset. I'm not a believer in the Browns.
I think with the Browns, if they have Hunt and Chubb this week, I think the Browns are going to pull it out. I don't think it's going to be a very interesting game, but I think the Browns. The Browns can win.
Do is interesting.
No, that's true, but I think the Browns will play just well enough to win that game. This game would have been 100% more interesting if Christian McCaffrey were playing. Tampa Bay at Carolina. So we both projected Kansas City beating the Panthers last week, and holy cow, were we almost wrong. A missed field goal at the end of the game by the Panthers. They lose. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, it was a far field goal. It was by no means a routine field goal that he missed. But that's how close that game ended up being, and I didn't think it was going to be close. That's how big of a difference McCaffrey makes in that lineup. So McCaffrey is doubtful for that game. Buccaneers.
So he's out.
I saw doubtful earlier. Is he officially out now?
I think they've changed it.
Well, either way, doubtful's usually out anyways.
He's going to see a surgeon.
Oh, that's not good.
On his shoulder.
Anywho, all right. So Buccaneers at Panthers. I think the Bucs defense is just too good for this Panthers team without McCaffrey. Yeah, I think the Bucs are going to have to come show out too. Yeah,
just roll.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm definitely going to agree with you on that one, and I just don't think the Panthers without McCaffrey are all that threatening of a team.
I think the Bucs got rolled and they're embarrassed and they're going to dominate. Yeah, the Panthers need McCaffrey to take away 4 defenders on every play. It's no longer double coverage. That dude gets quadruple coverage.
Well, and the difference is like when you double cover a running back, those are typically guys that are able to rush the quarterback. So it's like now your quarterback's not getting any pressure because they're afraid you're going to dump it to McCaffrey and he's going to bust one out. So this is another one of these games. This is where your record is decided and lost. The Eagles at the Giants.
Yeah, there's 2 games in a row we're about to find out here.
My list probably is different than yours.
I got Washington and Detroit too.
My next one is the Jaguars at Packers, but
okay.
So that I knew what you were talking about though. So the Eagles at the Giants. Eagles coming off their bye, they're 3-4-1, and the Giants are 2-7. The Giants' defense is impressive, despite the fact that their team sucks and their offense is never on the field.
And they turn it over every other play.
But I think the Eagles still have. I mean, they still have a couple guys on offense, I think, that have a shot here. And I don't trust the Giants' offense to score ever. So I'm going to go with the Eagles at this game.
So the Eagles barely beat the Giants last time. And you said you're going Eagles?
I am.
So this is going to be one I'm going to have to do different.
He's going to try and pick up the game. He's going to try and pick up the game.
Giants.
Anytime they could go both ways. This is a good time to pick.
Giants are at home. And
I could see that. I think at home is a struggle this year, though. I don't know that it makes as much of a difference.
Because everyone who walks into that stadium gets hurt, dude. Carson Wentz about to tear an ACL.
What else is new? All right, so the Jaguars at the Packers, and now I'm looking at this. I honestly didn't even realize the Jaguars were 1-7.
Yeah, they won week 1.
Yeah, they're playing the Packers, who are 6-2.
And
I mean, I want to say that this seems very obvious that the Packers are going to win this one. I can't imagine you're going to bet the upset here, so I don't even know if it needs any analysis. All right, so now on to this next one. I mean, you got to pick your team, don't you? Washington.
Actually, going back to the Packers, Aaron Rodgers had a pretty awesome interview. I don't know if it was like this week or if it was last week, where they said, you're playing on like Sunday night or something soon. Are you excited for that? He's like, you play well on Sunday night. You should see your stats. And then Aaron Rodgers' response on this podcast was, man, I play well on Thursday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, Monday nights, Sunday days. I don't care, dude. I just play well all the time. And the podcast guys loved it, and so did I. I thought it was an awesome response. And Packers by 1 million.
Wow, you're gonna lose that one. All right, so the Washington Football Club, or whatever the hell they're called, the Washington soccer team versus the Lions. I mean, are you gonna stick with your Lions as they lose again?
So here's the thing: is I chose the Redskins to win the East after like 5 weeks. I was like, screw it, I'm going Redskins. Last week, these teams costed me 2 games. I'm gonna go Lions. I have to. I've committed.
So another big question mark to this game is Galladay is questionable. On my bench. I would love to start him. But he's questionable. I'm not sure what to think about that. I don't know. I don't trust Washington's offense. I have Gibson
Alex
starting.
Smith.
The worst part about Gibson is that McKissick keeps stealing all of his points.
What about McLaurin?
No, McKissick, the other running back. McLaurin is absolutely a stud. That dude is insane. But I think that this is a game the Lions don't lose. I don't think
Smith.
Although the Washington Redskins defense, or the Washington, not the Redskins, Washington soccer team is just, I don't think they're good enough. All right. This is a nice little matchup. The Broncos lost us both a game last week. Both picked the Broncos to win last week. And they're playing the Raiders.
I'm going Oakland, aka Vegas.
Yeah, I think I'm a little butthurt out after Denver lost last week. Because
after Drew Lock went 6 weeks between throwing a touchdown, and then he threw 3 touchdowns, and last week he didn't throw a touchdown. I'm going to go with he's not going to throw another touchdown for 4 or 5 more weeks, so we're just going to go with that.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go Raiders here. I think the Raiders are going to kick it into high gear here as they
6-3 if they win this. That's big time.
Yeah, they want to push here to be a solid contender. So,
the best they can do is a 5 seed behind the Chiefs.
This is a very interesting matchup. The Chargers at the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins team is playing around good defense. The Chargers team is playing around tremendous offense with a terrible defense. This game could end up going either way.
100%. Justin Herbert makes every game go either way.
I agree. The Chargers just can't close out any games.
Yeah, he puts them in positions of games they should no longer even come close to winning, and then he also put them in a position, I think, in only one game where they probably should have won, and then he played bad, but that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a stud for my fantasy team. I was a little concerned about this matchup, actually, just because of the defense of the Dolphins. But Herbert has not been a turnover machine, so I'm still not that worried about him fantasy-wise. But I think that the Dolphins do win here. I even though I'm a Chargers fan,
on their coach.
Even though I'm a Chargers fan, I think defense wins games more often than not in these close matchups. And the fact that the Chargers just have no defense makes things.
And they traded Desmond King, who got a pick
difficult.
6 in his first quarter with another team.
This next matchup is
Dolphins, dude. As you know, I love their coach. I think they have arguably the best coach in the NFL right now. I know that sounds crazy, but after what he did last year, I love him, and good for them. Anyways,
Bills at Cardinals.
This might be the game. This might be the game of the week.
This is going to be a good one.
This is going to be a good one.
I think this will be a very good game. You've got two very good offenses.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bills' defense hasn't been great this year, but you know that they can be good. So, I mean, this is a really tough one. You got two quarterbacks that are actually very similar.
They haven't played in 4 years.
This is gonna be. I don't know. I'm not even 100% sure who I like here right now.
Dude, I got no clue. Josh Allen was the best player in the NFL last week. Period.
So that means he's due to suck.
Arizona missed a 49-yard field goal short.
But DeAndre Hopkins was a no-show last week. Does that mean he goes off this week?
But the thing with that is their kicker missed a 49-yard field goal short. This is 2020. Kickers kick 60s on warm-ups all day. I've never seen that. That is bizarre.
It is. That is weird. You almost never see short field goals.
No, never. The only time you ever see short field is when you're kicking like a 62 going into the halftime. It was baffling. I can't get over. I know it's only kicking, and I used to be a kicker, and I used to be a damn good kicker back in the day. But I can't believe no one's talking about it because of how terrible it was. A 49-yard field goal for an NFL kicker, and he missed it short. That
is very rough.
That's like a huge news to me. Like you lost the game because you can't make it.
This is interesting too. According to this little Google search here, that Arizona is favored to win this game.
Yes, they are. I saw that.
But part of me thinks Buffalo is going to win this game. I'm going to pick Buffalo. I think Buffalo wins this game. I think Buffalo has the better defense, and like I said earlier, I think the better defense wins these close games.
Better defense. I think Arizona has the better defense, but I just think Josh Allen was really good, went into a slump, and was unbelievable last week, and the best player in the NFL, and I think they'll be really good. I actually don't think Buffalo's a good defense at all.
They were last year.
Last year they were good. Yeah, this year they're ranked 25th in the league.
Yeah, they struggled. Yards. They've struggled this year, but it's basically the same defense.
That's yards. So
same defense.
All right. Yeah, you're right.
49ers, 49ers. The 49ers versus the Saints. I don't think the 49ers have anybody left to play, so I'm going to say the Saints.
I'm going to say the same reason. Unless the Niners can prove, the injury bowl is who the two teams that are hurt more than anyone else, the Niners and the Broncos. Yeah, Niners and Broncos, I'm pretty sure, are like dying. Have them meet in the injury bowl, Super Bowl. Just go from there.
Yeah. All right, we've got Bengals at Steelers.
I love Joe Burrow, but I can't do it. Especially after the Steelers almost crapped the bed. They're probably going to come out and mow.
I think the Steelers are due to lose.
I agree they're due to lose too, but they were due to lose last week, and they got lucky. They're going to come out a little different this week going, well, we can't do that, and then they'll probably lose next, like the week or two. But I'm going Steelers.
Hot take, I'm going Bengals.
Hell yeah, I love it, dog.
Hot take, going Bengals. I'm hoping
I lose that because I like Joe Burrow, but I just think because last week's game against the Cowboys was so close, it's gonna say, well, we can't take this other bad team as an easy dub. You know?
I think Joe Burrow's good enough to put up the points. They've got running backs. They've got I don't know. I think I can just see it. I can see this being the game. I think that teams don't go undefeated, so
I
think this is
agree,
a
but I
loss.
just don't think that.
I think this will be a loss. Seahawks at the Rams. This is an interesting game. They have the Rams favored to win.
Do they really?
They do. They have the Rams favored to win this game. The Seahawks are 6-2. The Rams are 5-3. The Rams are obviously the better defensive team. The Seahawks are obviously the better offensive team.
In yards, it's only barely, but in points, I believe it's by a lot.
Well, I know in fantasy, there's hardly anyone worth having on the Rams.
So the Dolphins just beat the Rams.
They did because of Goff turning the ball over 800 times.
Oh, yeah, that was the game 2 weeks ago. So the Rams are off a bye, and Seattle they just lost to Buffalo. Yeah.
My gut says the Seahawks win this game, but now that I'm seeing that the Rams are favored, I'm a little torn now.
Well, I'm not going to wait for you to pick, and I'm just going to go with I'm still going to consider it an upset and say the Los Angeles Rams are going to beat the Seattle Snorkelers.
I go with the Seahawks then. Let's have a differentiating game there.
Seattle's a better team. I just think they're going to win.
Ravens at Patriots.
Ravens?
I agree. Patriots are just terrible. They're just awful.
And we all know what I'm doing for the last game of the week.
Because, I mean, can you actually bet against me still? Can you bet against me still as my Vikings go 4-5 after this week?
I'm all aboard the Bears down train.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, that's what I'm saying. You can't bet against me at this point. The Vikings have won both games since we started this podcast.
Yeah, you said the Vikings are going to be good. That's the Bears are going to be bad, and we're both right. Now imagine the Bears beat the Vikings, lols. But I'm going, oh no. Kirk Cousins on Monday night.
Uh-oh. Well, he could just hand it to he can just hand it to Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook can beat the Bears alone.
I'm still gonna go with it, even though I don't.
The Bears are so bad that Tennessee played awful against them and was killing them.
I think the Bears might be like the worst 5-2 team in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So that is the full length of games for this week. We will see. I am in the lead by 5. So
the Bears are really good at rushing the ball.
No,
that's not. Hilarious. They're the worst rushing team in the NFL, and they're 13th in passing. You'd think all their Bears, their problems would be with passing.
It's their offensive line that's terrible.
Yeah, and their coach.
Probably that.
Yeah, he's terrible.
All right. So, are there any other statements about the NFL you'd like to make before we?
I still can't believe we're this far in all the sports world seasons. Yeah, the Bears have lost 3 in a row, and I think they were 5-1. So I'm gonna go with the 4 in a row. Well, the Titans only beat them by 7. The Saints only beat them by 3.
The Titans only beat them by 7, but the Titans were up huge and played terrible. Like Derrick Henry had like 30 yards on 12 rushes to start the game.
What do I need to say? That's not good. 30 yards on 12 rushes?
Yeah, that's to start. That's what I'm saying. And Tennessee was beating like 17-3.
Oh, okay.
Tennessee was beating like 17-3.
Chubb is not sure he's going to play. McCaffrey to miss Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, dude. What do I think of the NFL? I'm thinking jump all aboard the Miami Dolphins bandwagon the next couple of years.
Miami sports this year. Florida sports in 2020.
I'm also all aboard everybody in the NFL needs to tank for Trevor Lawrence, and then when the Jets get the number 1, he either goes back to college or someone trades for that number 1 pick.
Or Jets.
Who's going to go play for Adam Gase, dude? Jets. That dude's going to walk in there a bigger leader than Adam Gase ever was. So all aboard the Dolphins hype train, all aboard the Bears down train. Let's do this.